If you go to the chart, you put the exact same things that I'm about to teach you, you will see instant results. You see accuracy in front of your eyes, the way that you've never seen before in the charts. I'll break down exactly the most accurate strategy you've ever seen. I don't need to tell you all of that. I know you're sick of hearing people telling you that, so I'll show you instead.
I'll keep it as simple as it gets. I'll teach you everything. So first thing, when we go to the charts, you see that my charts actually have two different colors. So I've got the yellow and I've got the green. This is basically just an indicator that I use, and I'll show you which indicator now. So on TradingView, if you go on the indicator tab, that's literally the only indicator that you will use. So you're gonna look session bar color, low fat, look with pH, and then that's what will come up, and you click 3 times. You will click it 3 times and you see them over here. You need to be doing this in your charts because you've got to try this. This will instantly change your trading. But first indicator that you have, we'll have it as a yellow color. So you just click in here, change the color to yellow, and on inputs you will put 17 to 03. So you just pick it in here, 17 to 03, and the color yellow. Does not matter what time zone you're in, it has to be the exact same as mine. That's one. Since you added 3 indicators to your charts, we'll go to the second one. Second one, we'll draw it green, and the input will be from 8 a.m. to 17, which is 8 to about 5 p.m. This is the most important one because this is actually the New York time window which we trade. And this indicator is just going to highlight that specific time window. The last one in here, yellow one as well, but then this time we'll be going 1:30 to about 8 a.m. So once you set it all up with this exact same input, you will see your charts looking exactly like this. Now that you have your charts like this, you can see some patterns that before you wouldn't be able to. What we want to think about is the following. When you are trading, most people will just trade whatever time. If they see a setup, a pattern, SMC, whatever it is that they are trading at the moment, they will just get in. The thing is, if you are trading, for example, US session, you want to be trading at the levels that the people that are operating in the US are trading to and from. I'll show you exactly what I mean. On this time window, we had the people from that session go up to this point here. Price couldn't really go past that point, and then it just created a little bit of a resistance in there. And similarly, on this time window in here, we also came down to this area here. We couldn't do that, and then we created these 2 little levels in here. Now you can already see how these 2 levels were then used on the next day to then push price down. So it respected the zone both from here on this candle, and you can see how this candle he pushed up into that zone, back down. Now, similarly, we can do that now with every single time window that we had the green candles, and just take note of whatever it is that they have rejected. The specific New York banking zones is what I call them, where they push price to and from. So in this case, they push price all the way here, and then in here, price just sort of found its little level. Likewise in here, we'll do another level just here. And you might think, why didn't you do it at the top? You're not necessarily trying to do the highs and the lows, although most of the time it might be. You are trying to find the areas that they have brought price to and from. Within this time frame, price came and rejected in here twice, 3, almost 4 times this level in here, meaning that this is an area of interest for the people that trade within that time frame. And why this is very important, likewise this one down here, and this is very important because when you get the green candles back in the market, these are levels that are created by them. That means that they will likely to be trading on these same levels again. So we'll mark out every single area of rejection. So for example, just up in here, we'll mark out. Just up in here, we'll mark out. Just down here, we'll mark it out. And the best part is when you can see already that they have rejected here and they rejected in the past, and you can see how the charts start to piece together perfectly. Where I say in here, look how many times they sort of weaken, go down, and that's where most people trade. That's where most people get trapped on this little weird itchy bitchy price action, because they're trying to trade a level when the people within that time window that actually care about the level are not in the market, which is just crazy. So we'll just keep doing this. So this is the level, for example, rejected here and there. We'll do this one in here, and I'll just do as many as I can see. I'm just gonna find where price is. So price is all the way up here. In case we keep going up, let's just check down here on this height if we can find any price action from before in here, just in case we keep going further up. And you can see that we haven't been at this level for quite a long time now, going back to like November 2023, so it doesn't look like there's any other zones up above. So we'll just work with what we've got here. I'll do maybe just a couple more down the bottom here just to be safe. That which lines up with this one. I can do these ones here down the bottom, which line up with those 3 points. And lastly, this one over here seems to sort of line up with a middle area that we got here, which we can draw. Or perfectly look at that, how it lines up then perfectly with that and with that, without even seeing the charts. And the same way that they reject the areas again and again in the past, they will reject them in the future. So similarly in here, we got an area down the middle here. See down on this candle here, which then, let's see if it connects now on the past, touched in here, see, in the past already. So that's a nice, see how we squeezed between them. So perfect. We now have a lot of zones, and it might look a bit messy, but as you see, very nice big zones. And the beauty about this is that now you know exactly where you want to enter, but most importantly, you know when you need to enter as well. You know that these levels were created by the green candle. This means that only when the green candles are in the market is that you should be looking for some sort of trade, because the green candles were the ones that created that, and the green candles are the ones that will be trading the levels as well. And I will show you now how this simple strategy, these simple levels, can then give you a wealth of opportunities again and again. So in the 5 minutes, we'll just wait for us to be at a level with the green candles. So you can see now that the yellow candles, they cross through, they pierce, and then they break down. They seem like they kind of use it, but see here, like if you bought it in here, for example, it wouldn't really go through, would stop you out, and then you think it goes up and it goes up and then it increases you again. So you can't trade it outside the time zones, the time frames that we are trading, because this is where most people trade, and that's where most people get stopped out as well. So all my time zones, it's between 10 p.m. to about, I say 2 a.m. You don't trade the full window. You usually only trade, I would say, the first 4 hours of the time window, which will give you the main opportunities. If you don't get the opportunities within that time frame, then just forget about it. So in here, for example, we already had this rejection from the zone in itself, this doji, and a nice big push down from the zone. We are likely to then push down because we are at a zone, we've got a green candle, so we'll basically just do a position in here. Our stop losses are just up above there, and our take profit is about down the bottom where the next zone is. Okay, how far deep you want to go? You can go as far as, I'll say, the nearest round number, so say 400 for example. I think it's a good potential area to go to. That's about 5 times your risk if it works out. So let's see how that plays out. So nice big momentum in there, it keeps going, and price, there we go, perfectly. And I'll go back in here because we already had another opportunity there. But just in here perfectly, you see that we got 5 times our risk with that, going from a zone straight into another zone, which is just beautiful. Now, as we get to that zone, what's amazing is that we get there, we reject it, and I know we already saw it before, but it's just so clean, and you see how clean it is. We get there, we reject it, and we get this nice engulfing candle right after. What does this tell you? It tells me that we are now rejecting the zone and going up above. We at least have 1 to 2 in here, so we'll just put our stop loss. I'm putting it just underneath here where the zone is, and then I'll put on the next nearest number, so say 800 in here, so close to 2.5 on this position alone. So let's see how it goes. It just looks very textbook, so yeah, it's quite obvious that it's going to get there. And as we get in there again, we start to reject it in there. Now we already had pretty much 7.5% just with these 2 trades, and that's almost a prop firm phase past. With this, we seem to be rejecting it again. Now, because we already moved from a zone to a zone about twice, so see how we did perfectly. Usually at this point, I just sort of try and stay out of the market, because that means that the highest probability opportunity is probably already passed. But let's assume that I'm a monkey, very greedy, and that I want to trade whenever I see an opportunity. So let's see, I rejected in here, It's looking like a clear, nice rejection up above there. And we are going up to the top there, right? Now with my structure here, I've got this potential peak in here that I would love to break first. And ideally I want to see this break to be happy. I'm in a trade, let's say that I'm in a trade anyways, but ideally I want to close in there, above there. And we're getting close, we're just getting right in there. We're struggling to break through. We just broke through potentially that level there, and we got bamboozled. Oh my god! But that would be essentially a 1 minus 1, so 7.5, and then minus 1, so it's still up 6.5, even though we took this loss over here. And the good thing about it though is that we were able to then now see price come straight back down, and with much force break through the zone, come back. But that's a massive candle. That's a massive candle. And with that in mind, this just shows me there's a lot of momentum here because we couldn't break past that. So I'll put my stop losses just above that level we couldn't really break in here. And I'll try and just reach it on the zone here. Now, because we are being a bit more cautious, like this is already well deep into the session. We're close to 1 a.m. It's close to the time that we don't trade anymore, especially after these nice big opportunities in there. I will really try my best to sort of be as safe as I can, and whenever we see some sort of rejection, this would have to be manual. So we'll see what happens there. Price is breaking down good, price is breaking down good, and then price is breaking down not so good. At this point here, at this point here, I'll probably close somewhere around here for 1%, but that's essentially it. That's a nice example, and you can see that after say 2 a.m. price just sort of does its own thing and just dances around, and you just sort of forget about it from that point on. But very nice clear structure there. So even if you just held it without closing it, or you put it at break even as you got into profit, so either a break even there or potentially closing when the session turns in the morning in here from half your risk. But that's very clearly nice example of one-time window, and we'll do it again. So what I'll do, I'll just skip now to the next time window that we have in there, and we'll just wait for things to happen. So we got news coming up on this session here at 10:30, so I don't want to be trading before that. And if you want to master these things like with news and everything else, make sure you subscribe. I'll be posting a lot more of this content in here. And if you want to take this further and trade with people that are trading the exact same strategy at the same time every day, including myself with the exact same zones that I use and everything else as well, maybe consider joining the Discord, because I will be posting my zones. We'll be discussing the trades as the week goes along, and then you will not only master this beautiful strategy, but you won't do it alone. You'll make sure that you are on track and doing everything right. So make sure that you join the Discord as well. But let's go now to the session. We can see that we are not within a zone. And remember, it doesn't matter if the candles are green if we are not at a zone. We need to wait for the candles to be at a zone. So we'll just wait, and we're now touching the zone. This is the news coming up though, so we just gotta wait for the news before we can trade something decent in there. And as the news come around, probably the next candle now, there we go. So news comes up, breaks us straight through just over there. And I mean, look, this does seem like quite a nice candle. This is definitely going to go up, but I don't see here a good opportunity to enter, because if I was to put, say, my trade in here, that would be too small of a risk to reward. So honestly, this does look like it's going to go all the way to the zone perfectly, but I wouldn't personally get in on this. I just wouldn't get in, because there's not really a price I can get in. Price just moves too fast, and that's fine. Now, as we get closer to that zone there, we can see that price is rejecting it in there. I do want to see some sort of strong movement, because this is just showing indecision. See how we go up, reject, go down, reject. I want to see some sort of intention when we go down. And let's see, this is intention. Can you see how we then went above in there, rejected, and then now we came down, closing with this nice engulfing candle? That's intention enough for me. Now it's just a matter if we can actually get a nice stop loss, because that's quite a big wick just over here. Let's see if we can get a nice enough thing. So 828, let's go to 800, which is just about here. And I feel like this could potentially work. Maybe like I'll be pushing for 122. Like honestly, that's borderline not a very good trade, but I'll say maybe a 7. Like let's just make it a 122 flat, 122 flat, which would take us to 797, and let's just see what's going to come from it. So we get some nice push there. We might get stopped out potentially. We got a nice rejection there, and we get a nice big other one in there. So we could potentially double in, I would say, on this one. Let me just make sure I put this above here, and another 2% trade potentially. So this I would double my lots in here, because this is already showing me a lot of potential. We rejected the zone twice, and so long as I don't break past this big engulfing candle here, in which case I would close this one as well. As long as I don't close this one here, then I feel like we are still game. So we just go and wait for us to go. Let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, perfect. Look at this nice sharp straight into our take profit in here. Really nice and clear. So that's at least a 2%. If you put that scaled in, there'll be another 4%, and this is already 10% that you've made. Even with the losses in here, even if we just consider this as a break even, even if we get this as just a 7 times and 6 in here plus 4 in here, that's 10%. 10%. If you have a funded account of 100,000, that's about 10 grand that you made in 2 days. And it might seem too good to be true. I want you to go and try it for yourself. I really want you to go and try for yourself. And I can keep going because we are still not at 1 a.m. just yet. So let's just wait for some sort of intention in here. So we rejected down here, we're rejecting up the top in here. I want to see some sort of reaction, right? If I am to buy this back up to that 3500 level, I want to see some sort of intention. And this is intention. That's beautiful. Okay. So this is a nice pin bar engulfing that candle, rejecting from that zone. It's not really rejecting down there. And the way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to put my stops just below here. And I'm going to put my take profit just up the top there. And as we will wait, that's 3 times our risk. Let's see. Still rejecting a lot there, which doesn't look too good. But let's just see it through. Once again, came back to the zone, retest this. A nice, good opportunity to potentially enter again on this close of an engulfing candle, because this is a very good sign. So you could potentially get another 122 in here. But let's say we didn't scale in. Let's just pretend we didn't. And yeah, there you go. That's nice and clear. And the thing is, as you start to practice with the strategy, you will start to just get a feeling. You start to develop a little bit of an intuition to trading, basically. You start to develop a bit of an intuition. So once you have an edge, all you need is the screen time. And if you want to have all the screen time that I already have in your favor, make sure you come and have a look at the Discord, because I am in there myself. You can ask me questions directly about the strategy. It's really affordable. The fee is just to make sure that only serious people will get in there, but I'm not trying to make money off it at all. Just come and have a look. Past this level here, we're already past 2 a.m., so we are not going to do any more trades on this case, for example. So see, this is essentially why, because price starts to sort of move around and it doesn't really know what to do until towards the end. Honestly, try this strategy for yourself, whether you join the channel, the Discord or not. Try this strategy. You won't be finding anything better than this. This is the simplest strategy you will ever learn. This is the strategy that made me profitable. And this happens over and over every single day. So make sure to join the Discord, subscribe to see more content like this, educational content. I really want you to start spreading the word out there. This is honestly a new trading revolution, because I never seen something as accurate as this. This is where most people trade, you see, on that noise. And that's where you don't want to be caught out. See, in here, for example, we would have potentially gotten a break even. But then as you reverse back down, look how this is a nice opportunity there for it to come straight into the zone here. That's to the next nearest level, which is 3, 4, 500. That's 3 times your risk once again. And that's every day, guys. Every single day. And look how it bounced perfectly from a zone to another. And that's what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Is this hard? Honestly, you probably have looked at ICT, you've looked at SMC and all these very hard things, and this is not hard. Like, it's like when you started support and resistance and you thought, oh my god, this is it, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And look at this, isn't this a lot alike? The difference is that now your support and resistance are actually real. you know exactly when it will work and when it won't work. Honestly, try it on your charts. Comment down below what you think, and I hope you stay tuned.